Well, I put out the fire. Ah!
Everyone knows Atari, the original video game company. But did you know I don't like their games? Yeah, this stinks, but I have to talk about them by law as a guy who talks about games. I have my court order, don't worry. Atari was mostly run by Nolan Bushnell. Nolan needed more than just himself to make anything, so he hired a guy named Alan Alcorn. Then Alan made Pong. Smart choice. Atari got its start making bank on Alcorn's Pong, the first evolution of Mr. Higgy's Tennis for Two. They originally only made one. That one they placed at Andy Capp's Tavern in California. This thing got played to death. Literally. After 2 days, the owner called the guys and said it stopped working. The only problem was it couldn't hold any more quarters. Nice. They started making more, but got into a legal problem with Magnavox since they owned the patent. Don't worry, I'll keep it quick. They came to agreement. Pong in every pub. They even made a home version like the Odyssey. Who likes this, really?
But nobody wanted Atari to corner the market on games. Especially not me.
So after a while, other video game consoles like the Fairchild Channel F started coming, knocking Atari down a notch. But Atari came back with their video computer system.
Yeah, because you know the VCR? Well, this is the VCS. It's totally better, I'm telling you.
It had a more appealing design than some of the other consoles and definitely runs better. But all consoles at the time only played simple arcade-like games back then. And the cost for just one of these suckers was $199. Huh? And that equates to $850 in today's money, so it was a huge investment for a piece of junk. The games themselves were an extra $60 each, which comes to $116 for Centipede.
Would I spend $966 for Atari and fun with math? No!
Am I bashing this too much? Probably. But let's step back and look at a few influential games in the Atari 2600's life. It's Pong! You hit the ball back and forth to avoid losing. I would know. Let's just say this and Yar's Revenge are some of the only Atari games I'd consider playing. You little Robinette just wanted credit for making his game. And in doing so, made the very first Easter egg in gaming. If only you could scramble it.
What do you mean you can't?
The game was probably the most complex out there, consisting of multiple mazes with hidden items, pathways, and more.
So it's pretty much a precursor to The Legend of Zelda.
The items are sword, key, cheater's delight, the stupid bat, and the chalice. The goal is to find the chalice and return it to the Yellow Castle,
Okay.
and fight off any dragons along the way.
That's not a dragon. That's a duck.
This one has a surprisingly detailed character and a strip of moving color that makes you think your computer is busted. You have to smack this thing called quotile to beat the level. The way you defeat the quotile is by firing this beam that can also hit you.
Strategy is involved. Well, they happened. They sold well. I don't like them.
You play as the little shooter thing at the bottom and attack the centipede before it gets you. And hit as few mushrooms as possible to rack up the point.
No.
To be fair, Millipede has more going on, like spiders and ladybugs and flies coming in at random. Yeah, that one's better. I just don't like the centipede formula in general. This game gets really difficult after a bit. Then it becomes monotonous. And then you slip up because the joystick is sweaty and miss the high score by 2. You jump over things and not much else.
It's Donkey Kong, but not.
It's a pretty quality platformer. But personally, I can't stand the... This was used in the actual military for training tank use. Wow. The only other thing I want to mention is Sword Quest. Some mini-games, weird items, absolutely no instructions on what to do. That about wraps up the main lineup of games. 2600 was amazing at its time. It housed the first game with an Easter egg, the sudden appearance of classics like Yar's Revenge, and substantial disappointment. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. A movie worth watching and a game worth burying forever. Everyone knows about the burial of thousands of unsold Atari cartridges. Atari buried them for the simple reason they were going bankrupt and didn't want 7,000 aliens on their hands. Some call E.T. the worst game of all time. I disagree.
In fact, I don't see what's wrong with this game. Full expansive map, smooth controls. This game sucks.
A lot of people blame this game for the crash of 1983, but E.T. isn't the sole reason. I mean, sure, it contributed, but it didn't directly cause the crash. You see, the crash was mainly caused by the overflowing mediocrity in the market. Dozens of half-baked consoles released onto shelves. Games weren't clearly marked for what console they were for. Unnecessarily large accessories clogged the bargain bin. But I think the worst offender was this guy. Seriously, I'll take the clunky stick. Just put that monstrosity back! At what point does a game this simple need 10 buttons? I can't even tell which button I'm pressing unless I look down.
Dang it!
Oh, and don't you just gotta love the Pac-Man port to Atari? No!
This isn't Pac-Man! This is a circle with an eye!
And other arcade games got badly ported too.
At this point, no one's safe from an Atari 2600 port. Nah!
Oh, right, the arcade. That just might be important. These things thrived when the home gaming market wouldn't stop dying for 2 years. Most of these games were surprisingly well thought out and made with the constraints of the day in mind. But where did they get their start? I already mentioned Pong, but another important cabinet was Space Invaders. This game got ripped off so many times, it's ridiculous. Even Galaga rips off this game.
The arcade consisted mostly of Pong, Space Invaders, Space Invaders, Space Invaders, Space Invaders, and Space Invaders.
Until a Namco employee stared at the pizza he was eating and said, "That'll work." Pac-Man was born. This game apparently helped get girls into the arcade simply because it was oh so cute. This is cute? Really? After Pac-Man showed something besides Alien Game number 700 would sell well, crazy ideas got thrown out for the entire world to see. I want to talk about just a few of these great arcade games. Miss Pac-Man is an expanded version of the original and is, dare I say it, even better. More mazes, different ghosts. Who made this? It's another instance of college guys saying, "Heh, that's cute," hacking the game and coming to an agreement with the parent company to publish it. Dig Dug is one of my favorites. You dig down, commit genocide, go to the next level and do it again.
Donkey Kong is another thing I have to mention by law. Only complaint is fall damage. Really?
The game is pretty solid except for that stupid fall damage. I hate fall damage so much. I will also mention kicks.
I like this one. Well, now that I'm done talking about games, I need to get the mail. Dang it.